For me, I hope. For me, I hope, my baby. For me, I hope. For me, I hope. Some go tell you, say now you be one and only, call you baby. Some go promise when time come them fail. When the times are good, they go call you boo, they go stand beside you, claim to love you. When the times are hard, they go just bail. Now I hold my baby, oh. Now I hold. Now I hold, now I hold, now I hold my baby so. Now I hold, now I hold. For me I hold, for me I hold my baby oh. For me I hold, for me I hold.
Alright, Chike with the song Beautiful People. Well, the beautiful people of Ibadan, good morning to you. Welcome to yet another edition of Solutions Clinic, where we get to talk about everything and anything health. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, and I believe that you're prepared for what lies ahead for this new week. I do hope and pray that it becomes prosperous for all of us. Well, this morning we're going to be talking about menstrual hygiene. So it's a little self-centered. The topic we're talking today is a larger percent relating to women affairs. However, the men are involved. So if you want to find out how you're involved in this as a man, then you want to stay through to this dial. We're streaming live on Facebook as well as YouTube at Solutions 939 FM. So do well to jump in on the platform and react to, react to it as we talk about this subject this morning. If you have questions, you can send it via the number 0909 888-9939 or 0904 422 2939. My name is Vic Riches. Welcome to the show. Alright, menstrual hygiene is a critical aspect of women's health and well-being, yet it remains a topic shrouded in stigma and taboo in many parts of the world. Proper menstrual hygiene management is essential for maintaining physical comfort, dignity, and overall health during menstruation. By prioritizing menstrual hygiene as a public health issue, we can support the well-being and dignity of women and advance gender equality and reproductive health. Joining me this morning is Dr. Chukwuma Okoli. Thank you so much for being with us again this morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Hope you had a wonderful weekend.
I did. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so it's been said that poverty is the leading cause or factor for poor menstrual hygiene. I do believe there are other factors, but most people have said poverty is the major reason why we have poor menstrual hygiene, particularly amongst women.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, poverty is a major factor. And let's break it down. When you don't have money to eat, then you don't even consider making money available for the menstrual period. You need to eat first, be well fed, then you can now consider other factors. Now we have factors such as ignorance, okay, and then poor education or poor attitude to education. Yes, poverty is the number one. And we know when you don't have money, you don't even remember. You first of all want to eat with the little you have before you think about buying whatever it is to help during your monthly periodic cycle. And then if you don't even, some people have the money but don't believe, and that's where the ignorance comes in. We live in a world where people still believe in very archaic things, still practice a lot of beliefs, cultural and social norms compared to what is medically safe in the environment. It's a place where people will tell you, oh, he has a fracture, please take him to the traditional bone setters. They know it better than the orthopedic surgeons. That's kind of Nigeria where we are. So if you are in that situation, you would understand that apart from the poverty, some people could have the money, but they go with the cultural and social norms, which are all quote and unquote wrong practices in the environment. So apart from the fact that they may not have the money, some may have the money and do not believe, and then some may not even have access to the proper knowledge by virtue of whatever it is that may make them not to have the proper exposure that they need to have. And then speaking of cultural issues, this is a topic that in the hinterland, in the traditional setting, it is not to be discussed in public places. Yes, because it is so quote and unquote a female thing. So you rather look for an older woman and say, hey, go and talk with this one at the back. We have more important things to discuss. And that's not true. That's absolutely falsehood. You live in a world where gender equality is being talked about. Yes, it's a world where everyone is involved. Everyone is supposed to, their life matters. Everybody's life matters.
Absolutely.
This morning, I saw a picture of a white and a black girl who fought. And I learned the white girl now has a severe head injuries. And then the whole thing is going with the race and color of the skin thing. And I'm like, God, when will this thing stop? After Obama became president, I thought all those nonsense would have gone. So you see, we have we have our hands full, and when we have to cope with a lot of nonsense, so to speak. So back to what we're talking about. Apart from the poverty, we also have the attitude, the poor attitude, and then we can talk of other factors, cultural and social factors. Thank you.
Fair enough. You've emphasized, on knowledge, a couple of times as you spoke about poverty as a factor. And in terms of poverty, you just even brought me back to the idea of how important food is. But my line of thoughts in poverty is even buying the basic things that you need. But of course, if you have not eaten, how would you make provisions for sanitary pad and whatnot? So of knowledge, I would like to think that, for young girls, they have, women who are their mothers or aunties. They also go to schools where I would expect that, proper hygiene or menstrual hygiene is being taught.
Exactly.
So what is now deterring these women who were before the young girls, from teaching them proper menstrual hygiene?
Thank you. See, the breakdown has come a long way. Yes, we used to know about cohort meetings. We used to know about gatherings and village square gatherings where things like this are taught to the people at the village square. And then in town, we used to know about meetings, lectures, and classes as early as secondary school classes. But the point now is Nigeria is, people are so disgruntled and they are distracted with lots of things. I once watched a video about a little boy or so rapping and then, using some words against the government. What I saw inside of the whole thing is fine. He's passing a message across that the government is spoiling the future of Nigerians. But then, I just thought within me, now this one not be the next thing. Now, they teach our younger ones about how to yab Tinubu and co. No, I don't think that. Why not just focus them? I saw another picture, an accident scene where the driver was dead and the police rescue team, one of them took the baby and started distracting the baby with lots of beautiful things, the cloud, the pictures, and took the baby away from the scene. And I think that was ideal, and that should be. So let us, if you are an educationist and you are listening, yes, your job, if you are a parent as well, is to provide for your kids, not to sit them down and tell them how one government is not doing well and another government is not doing well. They will learn that one as they grow. But for now, let's focus on what is right. When we think about the fact that if they have a poor foundation, it will affect them in future. That's why you see people get to the position of authority and they fail woefully because they never had the proper training. Imagine if you're in a village where women are always told to go inside the house and go and sit there, only the men are out. And then you get married. What would you make of your wife? Anything you tell her, my friend, go to the backyard. We have important things to do. And in the night, you still tell her, yeah, come here, come and perform your duty. It looks like as if, is it a master-servant relationship thing that exists? It still exists even to today. Even in my tribe, it does exist a lot. And that's because the foundation has wobbled. So I think educationists, if you're listening, let's go back to the basics and teach the young girls as they grow up what the menstrual cycle is about.
Do you think that the worry is, the age factor? Perhaps they think that a girl of 7, 8 years should not be thought about something like this.
She should prepare for it. How about now? Look at it. I have always had this joy of asking parents, okay, when this period thing began, I asked the child, I said, who did you talk to? She said, my mom. I'm like, did you tell your dad? My dad is not always available. And I'm like, wow, this is it. And I saw one where it happened. In fact, it was the father who brought her to the hospital. Who did you go and meet? It was my daddy. Why didn't you meet your mom? My mom would tell me that she's busy, I should leave her alone. So you see, you should. It's a two-way thing. Both of you should be involved. By the time she's 8 years, some people could have their menarche, that is the commencement of the cycle, as early as 9 years. So I think by 8 years plus, you should tell them, hey, something may just happen one day, or you may just wake up and notice that this is happening around you. If it happens, just come to me. You don't need more than that. It won't take you more than 3 minutes to 5 minutes. And if she's an inquisitive child, good for you. Then take the pain, go to town, explain, use yourself as example. And let the child know that when this thing is happening, it's not like something has happened to me. Mommy had told me, mommy, come and see. Or daddy, come and see. And then you now say, oh, hey, this is it. So sit down, you now talk. You have become this and that has started. You're now becoming a big girl. Sex education. Use that opportunity. Go to town. Teach them. You see, this your thing is different from your brother's own. Don't touch his own. You shouldn't touch your own. You give all the necessary advice, and that is it. You're actually laying a foundation for an old age that is peaceful for yourself. I see a lot of old people here still going up and down, taking care of children when they ought to be resting, and it should be the other way around. Please lay the future for your old age to be a peaceful one, not a turbulent one. Educate your young ones properly.
I totally agree with that. The foundation is very key. And I do not also think that there's a wrong age for, sex education, because these days the internet is available to literally anyone. So they see these
to
things.
lecture you in the wrong way. They lecture you in the wrong way. So why not save yourself of the pain? Okay, now if you look at, going back to menstrual hygiene, now it's a female thing, yes, and these are two men talking about it. Cool. That's why you should enjoy it.
Absolutely. At first I struggled to even tell you to come speak about the topic, but then I listened to, because I do my research, and I saw that a couple of doctors who were invited to speak for the videos that I saw, they were all male doctors, and they spoke as an authority.
Yes. So
That's
that's why I
their
said,
field.
please enjoy. There are a lot of symptoms that we want to bore you with, but we're talking about the hygiene now. Now, we all know when this period comes. Most times, people use the commonest, which is the cloth. You see, it's easiest, it's easily available. You get a piece of cloth, you cut it, and then you apply during the period. That's the commonest one. We also have the disposable sanitary pads that people use. We have the non-disposable, that's reusable, and then we have the tampons. Okay, now the commonest around in Africa, in Nigeria today, is the disposable sanitary pad. If I mention the name now, you guys will know. You hear always, so that is it. That's the commonest, and then that is actually disposable. Now, we're not here to lecture you on how to use it or when to use it. We're only here to let you know that you must maintain a good hygiene for yourself. I sent a message to the group to commemorate with the commencement of the Ramadan today. And then I told, it's a class page, so I told, and then class of doctors, I was like, okay, oh, Ramadan has come. It's a month. Just to remind you, it's a month. I know it's a time for holy living, pious life, prayer, and all that. But guys, I think it would be ideal if we can just make this holy living a daily thing, not just after the 1 month. And then I left them with a few advices. Stay hydrated as much as you can. I said as much as you can because I know that between the hours of probably 6 a.m. and 7 p.m., nothing goes into the mouth. So drink as much as you can before then. And then once you are closing your fast, start with water first before any other thing. And that is it. So you see, that's about it. Going back to the hygiene, now, of course, we know that there are lots of cultural and religious factors that interplay with our daily activity. So, of course, if you are in your menstrual period, you might not be able to participate in any of those activities. That's not the point. The point here is the hygiene that comes with it. In this part of the world, most people will use the disposable sanitary pad during their menstrual period. Now, for us, many times, a lot of people experience a lot of overflow. And I always say to people, if you are having a heavy flow, stay home. If you can, yes. And then dress lightly so that you can easily rush down to the convenience and clean up and then reapply. Some might use as much as 4 or 5 in a day. Okay, and then if you think that this is different from what it used to be, just like we talked about when the period starts, most people by age 13, but we've seen people as early as 9 years of age it comes. So you know how this flow is from the beginning, and you suddenly notice a difference in the flow. At that point, it's ideal you go speak to a doctor. Now we are in a world of gender equality, so you don't need to. I mean, I once mentioned about somebody, I asked the wife a question, and then she turned to the husband, and I was already pissed off, like, what? Why should he be the one to speak for you? You don't need anyone's permission. Once you know that something is happening around you that doesn't feel all right, at that point, get to the hospital, have a word with your physician, irrespective of the gender. I believe your physician will do a fantastic job in getting you back on track.
Awesome stuff. Now let's come back home to Nigeria. According to the Ministry of Women Affairs data as of 2021, 37 million women have zero access to sanitary pad because of the price. What's the current price for pads now? Are you aware?
Yes.
How much is it?
The smallest one, which is like, which can last for maybe 5 or 4 days for me or something. It's about 1,000, 1,500.
Unbelievable.
Depending on the brand.
Depending on the brand.
You know, brands like
They don't mention the brand, yeah.
Okay.
So depending on the brand, the minimum is at 1,500. I had a colleague of mine to commemorate the International Women's Day. She gave a school here in Okiado over 1,500 parts that she was
Wow.
able to
Wow.
erase. Yes, well done, love it.
Please.
And this is something that she
Wow.
probably will do just because this is her 5th edition. She does it yearly, just once
Wow.
in a year. And, she's progressing with time, 1,500
Wow.
as of, last weekend. But my
Come
question is,
on.
there are lots of people that cannot even afford, after they're done with that particular number that she distributed, what happens next?
Next.
So what are the healthy alternatives? I believe you've mentioned a couple tampons,
yes.
but I've heard that some of these,
Tampons are equally, they're more expensive than.
they are more,
than-
I don't even know.
They're more expensive
Funny, I
than.
don't know what it
than-
looks like.
Yes. The ones that are quite, it's not the only affordable thing is the cloth, the piece of cloth. And my advice will always be, if you're going for the cloth, have as many pieces as possible. That's one. Two, know how to keep them. In fact, I was reading something about on UNICEF, a report on UNICEF as I was seated waiting for the time. And then it talked about the most important aspect of using this cloth is the recycling it, keeping it clean and dry. Those two.
Okay,
Clean.
you reuse the cloth.
Yes, clothes can be reused. So you have to keep it clean and dry, meaning you have to wash and dry and make sure it is properly washed, because God forbid you introduce a cloth that contains blood that was not properly washed out, and then and then we all know, okay, should I say we all? Well, most people should know that blood is rich in nutrients and it will invite microorganisms. So once you leave blood on the surface, microorganisms will get there fast because it contains glucose, it contains a lot of proteins and all that that will be nutritious to those microorganisms. I mean bacteria. Okay, so if you reapply a clothing material that is not properly processed, that's recipe for disaster.
Is there something special needed to wash these materials, or just your detergent? And is
Thank
there
you.
anything special?
It's the detergent, and then antiseptic liquids if you have them. So your detergents and antiseptic liquids, if you have, you wash, and then there's a way to wash. You wash, you soak, and you wash again. Exactly. So once you do that, and then you have more than a number, like a couple of them. Why do you need this? You need them so that you can use at random, not that you only have one or two and then you remove one, wash, and then use the second one, and then you may not even get them dried enough if you are the type with a heavy flow. So there's a problem there. So you need to know. But generally over the world, people are using this disposable pads. But despite the amount, people will still have to use it. But some people also use tissue. In fact, I've seen somebody sit down. We're talking.
Possible.
Yes, we were talking, and then she took a tissue paper and she was rolling it over. I was still wondering, and then, well, I'm into orthopedics, so I was like, I just remember how we used to roll over our POP material if we want to do casting. So I was watching her, and then the thing was so thick, and then I'm like, what's going on here? And he said, and she's having an heavy flow. Instantly, I just got up and I walked away like, come on. I mean, I almost used like a third of the tissue.
Paper.
And and then inside of me, I always have this, I felt so, somehow like, oh, God, please help women. Women are going through things that we guys can't even dream of. Yeah, I mean, shout out to the women. I said I was going to say it on radio. Sunday was Modern Sunday, and then before then we had International Women's Day. To every woman in our lives, we salute you. To our mothers, to our sisters, to our wives, to all our female staffs, we salute you.
100.
You are yes, 100. Yes, thank you, sir. We salute you. You're doing a great job. Without you, no life.
At
No
all.
woman, no life. So I give you a standing ovation. Every woman out there, the Lord bless you. So keep on being strong. Number one, I would say for yourself. Be strong for yourself, and then be strong for everybody else. Thank you, and keep it up.
This applause. Yes, to all the women, you are the heroes, so we celebrate you this morning. Let's talk about a problem, with menstrual hygiene, which is the disposal of disposable parts.
Thank you.
That has become a major concern,
Yes,
in
yes.
our society.
Yes.
Is there a way women can go around it? I don't want. Well, let's make an excuse for most girls and women who do that.
Okay.
Is it that they don't know how to dispose it?
Yes, they
Okay.
don't. And if they do, some of them are lazy to do it.
So how do they go about
I don't sound
it?
harsh at this juncture. A lot of times in the hospital, one of the things we have problem with whenever we call these plumbers to work on the system, and then the next thing they tell me is, sir, most times they don't even come to me. I push them away, like go talk to the admin officer. He will just come to me telling me, sir, can you believe that the toilet was blocked by sanitary pad? Can you believe this was? And I'm like, come on, who goes flushing a pad in a WC? These things are properly wrapped over, and then disposed. In fact, it should be disposed in a way that nobody should know what it is. Yeah, that is it. So that's the ideal way to, you wrap it properly and you dispose of it. Now, if you're in the whatever it is, you do not flush it in the water closet system, because at the end of the day, the plumbers will still open the soak away depot and still unearth them, exposing them up. So I think it will be ideal that they will be disposed carefully, well wrapped up and tied up. And then, of course, it will decompose easily that way without you exposing it to the open air. So most of the times people do not know. Some will even just put it in the dustbin, like you see an exposed.
Yes.
You know, imagine you're walking by in a hospital and then you probably want to dispose a glove or something, and then you're looking at blood-stained pad in it, and most times what I would just I usually tell the sanitary workers, the housekeeper, I said, well, good job. You're doing a good job. Thank God you're a woman, so you shouldn't feel so. Most of them are actually menopausal, though. But I just tell them, please just take care of the situation. You can let the admin secretary know so that she can arrange and let's educate them again and again. We shouldn't be tired of doing these things so that they can learn and live a healthy life. What we are after here is that healthy life, and that's why we are doing this health education on a constant basis. I do it with all joy and fulfillment to make sure that you live a healthy life.
100. Now let's move to other aspects that can affect a woman. It's been said that poor menstrual hygiene can affect you physically, mentally, socially, and otherwise. We see cases where it happens to a woman, she's utterly embarrassed, especially when it happens in the public, because she might be laughed at, even though she did not ask for it to happen. It just happened to her. And you see that people make a mockery of situations like that, and that could affect that woman mentally.
Yes.
So let's talk about the dynamics of how these poor hygiene, as it were, because I think it brings back the conversation to knowing your menstrual cycle.
Yes.
That way it prepares you ahead for what's to happen. So let's talk about that.
I have people that are close to me who are fantastic ladies. This is one of them, and then I know at least in the past few months I've noticed when the stuff is about to come, wow, the pain. I used to run away like I know, God have mercy. So really, women go through a lot of it. So knowing your menstrual cycle could help. Okay, now I've been in a situation where I had to run after a staff who was heading for the junction. The good thing is that the stretch of road she was going to walk towards the junction wasn't busy. But what happened was that I stood there while she passed, and somehow my eye had to look at her, and I realized that she was stained. How my eyes got there, I don't know. But the moment I saw that, I had to even end the discussion I was having with someone. I was like, excuse me. I ran after her. In fact, I had to literally run so fast because she was approaching the junction where lots of bike men were. And then by the time I caught up with her, I just grabbed her shoulder. Wait. She wanted to turn. I said, don't turn, because if you turn, you are going to be backing them. I said, don't turn. And then I said, you are wet. Hey, don't do anything. Hold on. I noticed that there's a shawl around her. And then I grabbed the shawl, and thank God I loosened it. It was thick and it was dark. And I told her, wrap it around your waist. Don't turn. She was like, thank you. Like, hold on. Just wrap it around your waist. Where are you going? She's going home. I said, just get going. Okay, hold on. I called one of the bike men I knew. And then I said, are you free? He said, he's free. Please come. He came right there. She boarded the bike right there, and he took her home. I told him, take her to her doorstep. Now later she had to come to me to explain a few things about how she had uterine fibroids and all that. So you see, yes, even knowing your menstrual cycle, sometimes this period can play fast one. So the only thing I'll just say is, if you are expecting it, then you need to go around with the pad. It's not a big deal. You should go around with the pad or whatever item you are using. And then if you're the type that has the premenstrual syndrome, premenstrual tension, which we're not really talking about today, if you're the type that have all those pains, the tenderness, that's pain in the lower abdomen and all that, then all the medications you need, have them during that period. Just go around with them, use them, so that you can be able to function optimally. We have women holding high, top-notch places in society. I mean, administrative roles and position. So I would also expect that you would be prepared for it. So once you are prepared, you won't have any issues with it. So it's also good to know your menstrual cycle, the timing, and then have all your stuffs ready around then, whether be it the medication, be it the material you are using for the period. Have it ready. And then your change of, should I say, the underwear, and then the lining. I know I eventually knew about what is called the liner or something. Have all those things available. And that's what it means to be prepared. Remember, Boy Scout, be prepared. You have to be prepared. It will help and it will keep your hygiene. Now, going to the main question. Poor hygiene would eventually lead to a lot of situations. We have a lot of pelvic infection, and I talked about if blood is left on the surface, it is an opportunity for bacteria to swim in rather, and take over. So if you don't, if you are using the recycled materials, just such as the cloth or the reusable pad, you must actually make sure they are well sterilized and washed and dried before you can reuse them, so that you don't end up having a pelvic infection, and that may actually cause infertility or delay in conception later when you need it. So you need to be aware of this as well.
Awesome. So I saw a joke that a doctor, one of the shows that I watched, and he said for every missed period, a child is said to be born. So, and he said that to say that he cannot wrap his head around the stigmatization that comes with, missing your menstrual period or having your period, because it's a gift that shows fertility. In his defense,
Yes.
right? So I think, and I share that school of thought. You see your period. I mean, you see jokes where women put out tweets saying, "Oh, I've not seen my period in 2 weeks," and they're scared. They're worried about, that what that could do for them. Then I'm not wondering why it is now a thing of stigma to some people when, they see their period. They are ashamed of it, for lack of a better way of saying it.
No, it shouldn't be. Every woman should be proud of their period when it comes. Just like you rightly said, your period comes. That's a sign, because I always optimistically state that when the period comes, there was an egg produced, and that egg was awaiting to be fertilized. So if the egg now wasn't fertilized, meaning you did not have unprotected sexual relation with anybody, then everything comes out.
Okay, so when it doesn't come out, it means the egg is.
So when you had stuff like so we'll call it, if you had twe during that period, and then the thing didn't come, then it means that you have your goalkeeper has caught the ball, so you prepare for the big one that will come thereafter. Never be ashamed to say that you are on. I don't know why. It's even normal. All of them, they used to act.
Yes,
like I don't know why.
What is wrong with you? We don't want you can't say it's.
I don't know.
It's I don't know if it's shame.
There's no big deal. There's no big deal. In fact, my accountant, she had outgrown that stage. If she would even
Could it be because people trivialize the pain that they experience? I think that for most people, because for men particularly, you don't understand the pain that women go through. So sometimes you think that they are exaggerating when they say,
yes,
maybe
it's
that's
part of it. Yes, people trivialize such things, so they just feel, oh, let me just keep it to myself, or just to the woman folk. Like, imagine okay, if she's telling a senior person now she doesn't feel good, that one would understand her being a woman and say, hey, okay, you have something you're doing. Oh, let me go talk to your senior so that he can relieve you. But unlike telling a man, the man will be like, what's the big deal in that?
The first to have.
And that's really not a nice thing to say to a woman. Are you the first that to imagine you saying, are you the first woman to give birth? What's the big deal about giving birth?
Right.
Are you the first person to do a surgery? Come on. I used to pray for some of them when they do that. I tell them, okay, you know what? Let me pray for you. That you will have 50% pain of the menstrual cramp. I want you to experience it in the next few days. So when you experience it, if you survive it, then come back to me and tell me your experience. Because if there's something that can kill a man easily, it's pain. The pain of labor is greater than the pain of breaking 10 bones. I mean, yes, that's why one of the things that I fear so much is labor. And anytime I'm around the hospital and a woman says, I'm not doing it again, no, me o shemo, please. Unless you are, like 95% done, you may now look at it and say, hey, hold on, you know what? Let me give you one news. see, it's almost out. And some of them will be like, okay, I should try more, Abi. And before you know it. And if it's not going to happen like that, you're probably like 70% gone. And she says, I'm not doing it again. Like, what's wrong with you?
I don't even know what to say.
So that's the reason people, quite a lot of times, sir, it will even shock you that women at times trivialize what other women go through.
Absolutely.
And I used to ask, are you a stone?
I agree
Oh,
to
okay. Even if you don't go through this, does it mean people don't?
Because I think it's different for each.
Yes, it is. It's individualistic. Yes, agreed. It is. Some people and look at even pain of labor. I was opportuned to be around a friend, a classmate. While in school in those days, she used to talk about painless labor. We belong to this Christian group, and then we're like, this is what I've told God. I'm going to have a painless labor. Now, on the day of labor, she called me. She called another colleague who's a doctor in UCH, and we're around her. And then I noticed that she would just be moving one leg, moving the leg. And then when the contraction comes, she'll stop talking. No matter what the talk is, I'll just notice that, okay, I'll try to, adapt. And then all of a sudden, what the doctor now told me, Chooks, please, I want to check her. And then only I just had, Chooks, hold on, she's almost, I was like, she's almost what? And I was right outside there, and the next thing, she just popped in her head and said, Chooks, congratulations. I was like, wow. Now she went through it. She went through it, I think 2 or 3 times, and she had her baby without much stress. But I was happy when the same person had to give a speech sometimes later and said, if you know what women go through in the labor room, you would never, ever raise your hand on a woman. Yes, there are a lot of documented findings about the pain that women go through. So even you as a woman, if you don't go through pain, doesn't mean the pain is not as much as it is documented. It should be respected globally. As a matter of fact, I will be part of those who would say, if you're having your period, don't come to work. Yes, do not come to work if you are having a period. I would wish a world like that would be in place where women are rested during their period so they can be good to come back.
Absolutely. I think there are lots of reforms that should be initiated as it concerns, menstrual hygiene, from even giving out free pads. There was a time, because my mom did own a provision store at home then, and I remember that there was a time the very popular brand was sold at 200 naira. So to hear that right now it's over 1,000 naira is just unbelievable.
Wow.
And I wanted to ask about the role men play in this, and I remember that I said that at the earlier state of when we started the conversation, and we've somewhat answered that, because even as a man you have a role of supporting the woman emotionally.
That is it. Yes, we're running out of time, so let me just quickly say, as a man, you support the woman, you support her physically, okay, you relieve her all the jobs that she's doing at that period, then you support her financially by making things available for her to do her thing, okay, and then you support her emotionally, by saying soothing words. My champion is, sorry, champ, and then you have kids, you gather the kids, and you sing for mommy. At that point, she'll just be like, all of you, leave me alone,
right.
Joe. Agreed. She may sound like that, but the moment you guys step out, she will be chuckling and smiling to herself like, oh, I have the greatest family, I have the best family.
Cares.
So you support physically, you support mentally and emotionally, you support financially, support everything, I beg. Support it. Thank you. Support.
All right, I don't know that we have a lot of time, but I have a couple of questions. So if you can still send in or call in, the number is 0909 888 9939 or 0912 2939. All right, I have a question here from Titilaya, and she says, good morning to you. My question is regarding female genital mutilation. Does it have any relation with menstrual hygiene?
No, it's essential aspects. Genital mutilation does not really have much. Part of the clitoris is cut off, and if it's cut off, it heals. Okay. So that's a different thing. It only affects them sexually and all that. But with the sexual hygiene, no, it doesn't have any documented relationship with it.
All right, this is another question from Top. Good morning to you. I am really worried about my boyfriend requesting to have sex with me during my period. Is that hygienic in any way? To be frank, I thought about it just to please him, but I haven't gone through with it.
No, it's not hygienic, please. Explain
Omo.
to him it's not
So,
hygienic.
no.
You can even Google it and show him. Please Google it. And show him it's not hygienic.
I think that's a wild. What kind of fantasy is
yeah,
that?
yeah, it is. Oh, gosh.
It's crazy.
Doc.
All right, Doc. Good morning to you. Okay. There's no name in this. How can I handle severe period pain?
Right. I was avoiding and praying this question doesn't come. Like seriously, at this juncture, if you're going through the pain, I commiserate with you. I can't imagine it. I can only mention the decibel, the extent of pain. It's out of this world. Women go through pains like this and they pass out and probably remain unconscious for a while and wake up again and continue. Well, this is my advice. Please get to see a doctor. Okay? Get to see a doctor. It's not something you can manage by yourself. It's really a big deal. And for some women, it is during these painful episodes you now discover they may have a fibroid. They may have what is called DUB, dysfunctional uterine bleeding, and a lot of diagnoses can be made. And most of these things are hormone caused, hormone related. So you might need to do a female hormone profile so that the right diagnosis is made and the proper treatment is instituted. Please get to see your physician.
So all these, so I hear that they take a lot of sugary things. I help.
It affects, yes. The relationship, I said it here once that I can't really tell the relationship, but yes, it does affect excessive sugar consumption. Even for people that have, is it pile or
Wait,
something?
me, I'm hearing that taking it relieves.
No. Oh, it doesn't. So it's the other way around, though. Taking.
Well, you see that they are buying them chocolates and all this.
It complicates things, though, so they shouldn't be involved with taking it much during the period. In fact, avoid sugar during that period. And if you can avoid sugar enough, please do. Some days ago, I took sugar and I was like, this thing is so sweet. I forgot it. I literally forgot how sugar tastes now. It was looking so sweet in my mouth. So please, as much as possible, avoid it, please. Thank you.
I just got this question. Yeah, it was part of what I should have asked. Good morning to you, Doc. Very strong analysis this morning. I have learnt quite a few things. Thank you to the host as well. My question is regarding young girls who do not know how to calculate their monthly cycle. For the purpose and benefit of these young girls, can you please help us in telling them how to calculate their monthly flow? My name is Grace.
Thank you, Grace. This is all I'll just say. The period is between it's between 28 and 35 days interval, and then the flow is between 3 to 21 days. So now it is individualistic now again. So you might need to speak up, and then I mean for each person. So you might need to let us know, like, when did your period start? In January, in February, and then March. Then we can use that to say this is how many days it flows. This is the interval. Then we can now calculate for it is individualistic. But we know that it's between 28 and 35 days interval between one commencement of one and another. And the flow is as little as 3 days. And for some people can go as much as 21 days. So
21 days?
Yes, as much as that. Yes, for some people. But in cases like this, you need to now rule out what is called dysfunctional uterine bleeding, and then you might need to make the proper diagnosis. So it is individualistic. So they need to see their health professional to help them with that.
All right. Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much, Dr. Chukwuma Okoli, for such insights that you've shared on the show this morning. Thank you as well for your help.
You're welcome.
That's how we draw the curtains on Solutions Clinic this Monday. I'll be back next week with Doc as well to talk about another health subject that is of interest to you. Good morning to you. My name is Vic Richards.
I know you're looking at me. You watch me like TV. You're looking at me 3 times in a row. If you want to say hello, just say hello. I think you look so pretty. You look like spaghetti. Like you are needing some love. I don't know, but I've seen that look before. And if you don't say hello, I will say